Welcome to Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes. This is a talk video, and we've got ourselves our final Gungan leading up to the release of Jar Jar Binks, our Gungan Tank, the Gungan Phalanx. We're going to do our standard stuff here, look at the developer insights and tips, break down and analyze the kit, and then we'll do a little wrap up looking at the squad. Now that we have our 4 established, we can look at a little bit more of the synergy. Gungan Phalanx joins as the much needed Gungan Tank. The key attributes: he gains taunt when the shield generator loses multiple stacks of plasma shielding, which with my 3v3 testing is definitely needed. That shield generator went down fast. Gungans are immune to protection disruption with shield generator and gain foresight when the phalanx assists. Raise to shield reflects some incoming damage with retaliate and protects allies with shield up. Assist allies when he's not damaged, and phalanx brings the first galactic challenge Omicron that I imagine we are all going to be skipping. Fierce Poke inflicts defense down or daze if defense down was already present. Also provides protection over time when attacking out of turn, so some control, some recovery. Heyo Watch Out gives phalanx taunt, inflicts tenacity down, facilitating other Gungan debuffs, and phalanx gains max protection whenever he uses an ability while taunting, which increases his potential damage from raised to shield. And I thank you, CG. I've been complaining a lot lately about all the extra spaces between the title, the GIF, and the body of text. This fits on one screen, and I like that. So the basic ability, Fierce Poke, physical damage to the target and inflict defense down. If the target already has defense down, inflict daze. Both Boomadir and Boss Nass apply defense down, so having Phalanx go maybe not last, but maybe third, means he'll have a pretty good chance at inflicting daze, especially with those attacks out of turn. Whenever Phalanx attacks out of turn, the weakest Gungan ally gains 3 stacks of protection over time. Protection over time, their bonus should spread easy enough, not something to rely on, but I do wonder if we should look out for future Jar Jar synergy here, just because several recent kits, like Queen Amidala, have been playing with heal over time and protection over time mechanics. I would not be surprised to see CG continue to explore and build on these mechanics. They sometimes work within themes. The first special, Heyo Watch Out, this is a cooldown of 4. AoE physical damage, inflict tenacity down on everyone. Because of Boss Nass and his debuff synergy, tenacity down has a lot of utility, but I don't think enough to supplant Boss Nass going first for me. But it does raise turn order questions that I think we should be looking at. Also, we need to keep in mind that Boss Nass is going to be stacking potency, so as the battle goes on, tenacity down is going to become a little bit redundant and lose utility over time. If the enemies were separatists, inflict provoked, and that is unresistible. This is pretty important. We're going to continue exploring it. And Phalanx taunts for a turn. If Phalanx was already taunting, he's going to recover 20% protection. So that's what this ability is really about. So provoked, if you remember, it guarantees 100% counter chance, and when they counter, they receive 20% max health damage. And because of the taunting condition, that means that provoked is going to be forcing those attacks right onto the Gungan Phalanx. That is going to synergize with his unique, which we potentially could have done first so that we could understand all these mechanics. So just keep this in mind. This is pretty important. Also though, this protection recovery may be very important. So with this big cooldown, we might want to keep these things in mind, because with all those attacks being forced onto the Phalanx, we might want to save this ability just to make sure we don't lose our Gungan too quickly, particularly early in the match when he doesn't have as much protection. The second special, Raise the Shield, cooldown of 4, self-cleanse all debuffs, and deal physical damage to the target. This is not the focus of this ability, but we do want to keep in mind with certain debuffs like daze, shock, or buff immunity, especially because without a turn attacks, as we're going to continue to explore, is really important with this kit. So we don't want to have daze on the Phalanx. Also, we need him taunting, so debuffs like shock or buff immunity, we need to make sure are not stopping the Phalanx from functioning as intended. Next part is deal an additional instance of damage equal to 10% of Gungan Phalanx's max protection. So this is another aspect that is going to be continue to become more relevant as we get to the unique, but already we know that Boss Nass's leadership with its synergy with recharge stacks max protection on Gungans. So we know that as the battle goes on, the Gungan Phalanx is going to be inflicting more damage with this ability, and that is going to continue with how the unique is going to function. AoE inflict vulnerable on all separatist enemies. This is going to synergize with Captain Tarpals, who reduces recharge whenever he critically hits. So now we have a condition which is going to guarantee those critical hits with Tarpals, which means recharge is reducing faster, stacking more max protection, which is going to increase the damage of this ability. Gungan allies gain shield up 25%, and Phalanx gains retaliate for 2 turns. Shield up, gain a shield based on max protection. Retaliate, whenever this character is damaged by an attack, deal 20% of that damage received per stack to the attacker as true damage. So this is what this ability is about. Combined with the taunt, retaliate means that attacking Phalanx has some big consequences. You're going to be forced into attacking the Phalanx, and he is going to reflect that damage back as true damage. But combined with the first special ability, if provoked is on the field, then anybody attacking someone with provoked is going to force a counter, and that is going to cause 20% max health damage, and it's also going to inflict the 20% of the damage received as true damage. Now, provoked reduces a bunch of damage, so that's not going to be as much with the provoked, but every little bit is going to be adding up to a large amount of damage when you attack the Phalanx. The unique ability, Let Misa Help. Now we see all those disparate parts start coming together. At the battle start, Phalanx loses 75% max health and gains that much max protection. Every Gungan has that. That's standard. Whenever Phalanx is not damaged by an enemy, on the next other Gungan's turn, that ally gains potency up. Phalanx will assist and remove 8 stacks of recharge from the shield generator. And that is why it is so important to make sure Phalanx can assist, because this is really interesting. Because it means if taunt isn't up, or if you can get around taunt and say attack the shield generator, then attacking anyone else supercharges the recharge mechanic, which when you lose a stack of recharge, then you gain a % of max protection. Every other ability for the most part only removes recharge once or twice. Every time you use a special ability, it's also reducing recharge, but it's only 1 or 2 at a time. Now we have a condition where 8 stacks are happening. So that means by not attacking the Phalanx, you are massively stacking the max protection mechanics. Everybody's getting more survivable, and the Phalanx is going to do more damage on you when he uses his second special. So it may be preferable to target Phalanx then, but if you're targeting Phalanx, it means that true damage mechanic is going to be triggered if retaliate is up. So you do want to get retaliate up pretty early. With the next condition, if the shield generator loses 2 or more stacks of plasma shielding in a turn, Phalanx is going to taunt for a turn. So this is nice because with my testing of Nass, Tarpals, and Boomadir in 3v3, that shield generator went down almost immediately. Just 1 mass assist, it was gone. A bunch of it, even the AI focuses in on the shield generator. They know to do that. So that means this taunt is going to be triggered pretty easily because a lot of players, a lot of characters are going to be triggering this. Whenever Phalanx uses an ability while taunting, he gains 2% max protection stacking for the rest of the encounter. So now we start seeing how this starts stitching together, because there are no good options. You can ignore Phalanx, and that is going to cause him to attack out of turn, remove stacks of recharge, 8 stacks of recharge, which causes the max protection. If you attack the shield generator with too many attacks out of turn, then the shield generator is going to force a taunt, and when he's now taunting, he is going to be gaining the max protection. So now we have multiple conditions triggering the max protection, which already has all these other conditions with the recharge from Boss Nass's lead, which trigger max protection. And one difference we're seeing here is with Boss Nass and the max protection from recharge, that caps out. Here it doesn't. So our best option is really to either use basic abilities to not cause some of these triggers, but that's not really practical. It's going to cause the Gungans to have too much time to use their abilities, or it means we need to use mass assist abilities to try and take out the shield generator as quickly and as early as possible in 1 or 2 attacks instead of using a couple assist abilities, which are only going to eliminate a couple stacks, because that's not going to be effective. Taking out 1 to 2 to 3 stacks of the plasma shield is not ideal. We need to be doing as many as possible all in one go. But it might mean actually something like Dark Trooper could do a lot of damage. Whenever the shield generator is destroyed, Phalanx recovers 50% protection and Gungan allies cleanse debuffs. If there is an active shield generator, Gungans are immune to protection disruption. So this feels like it could be a hint at how to beat them. Attacks that ignore protection could be very important, and eliminating the shield generator quickly is going to be critical so that this protection disruption immunity can be negated. Whenever Phalanx assists another Gungan ally that will gain foresight, this is a nice subtle control ability that's going to minimize the efficacy attacks and just add a lot of annoyance, elevates the need for a lot of control abilities against the Gungans. The Galactic Challenge Omicron, I almost didn't even read this. Like, we're all going to skip it. I'll be interested to see how many people apply it. It is a very good Omicron, just doesn't matter, because Galactic Challenges and the rewards are not good enough to warrant using something as important and as rare as an Omicron. It means we definitely probably won't be able to red crate. It means we may not be able to yellow crate or gold crate, and we'll be dealing with some of the lower ones. We'll see how much that matters. It's at most it's going to be 3 to 4 times a month that we could for a season lose out on some of the higher crates. Not going to be significant enough, but we will, out of thoroughness, go through the abilities. Add 10 stacks plasma shield. It's going to keep it around longer, probably means that a mass assist ability won't knock out the shield generator right away. That's good. Enemies can assist if targeting the Phalanx, I think? I didn't even read this close enough. Doesn't matter. They can assist under certain conditions. At the encounter start, and whenever an enemy is defeated, Gungans gain 100% evasion. That's actually pretty huge, because with these overloaded relic Galactic Challenge squads, sometimes they can just blow out a character pretty early, and it probably means we're going to be more successful without relics and maybe low stars on our Gungans. Whenever a Gungan ally uses special, Gungans have plus 50% offense and 2 turns, basics inflict exposed, that's whatever. And whenever any Gungan ally attacks out of turn, they remove turn meter. It's all good, but here's the issue. Even if we were interested in applying this Omicron, we don't have Jar Jar yet. We don't know Jar Jar's kit. We don't know if having Jar Jar means this Omicron is no longer necessary. Maybe we only want this Omicron under certain conditions. And because we have all of those unknowns, it is an irresponsible thing to apply this Omicron at this stage in the game with how important Omicrons are to other game modes. We just can't justify putting it on. We'll briefly talk about the Gungans just because I said I would. There's a couple things to consider here. Really, the biggest thing I want to talk about is Jar Jar Binks, because one of the things that we've seen with our Gungans is pretty large cooldowns. Like intimidating order here, 4-turn cooldown. Bombard Favor is a 3-turn cooldown. No Gibbon Up, another cooldown of 4. Ouch Time, another cooldown of 4. With Boomadir, cooldown of 3 on Booma, and Horn of Ota, cooldown of 5. And now we have on Phalanx another 2 abilities with cooldowns of 4. And with our new tank with Phalanx, we have the Retaliate mechanic and the Provoked mechanic. Those only last a couple turns, which means there will be multiple turns when Provoked or Retaliate are not on the field. So I would be expecting Jar Jar Binks to reduce cooldowns. It seems very clearly needed to exist on the squad for them to be as dangerous as they need to be. We might have some fun using these characters while we wait for qualifying for Jar Jar, but I think they're going to be held back by these larger cooldowns, and Jar Jar will tie them together in part by making it easier for them to actually utilize their abilities. And with like the other Gungans, because of that max health into max protection mechanic, and with how important max protection in particular is with Phalanx, you're modding them for health. Health primaries all the way. The only other thing that we could address here is we're going to look at the base speed for Phalanx. We are going to it depends how fast he is. One thing, Boomadir we can actually make fairly fast pretty easily. I might want to take Boomadire's turn meter swap ability and utilize it on the Phalanx, because I just think these mechanics with Provoked and Retaliate are really desirable, and we're going to want to be able to take advantage of them. But in 3v3, Boomadire, he's the one who goes away. Phalanx is going to take that spot. Boomadire just didn't do enough in a 3v3 context, and obviously when Jar Jar appears, is probably Tarpos is going to be knocked out too. I think Phalanx is going to stick around. Phalanx just seems pretty solid to me. But it is late. I need to work on Bo-Katan now, so we'll wrap it up. I've got a bunch of Grand Arena videos that I gotta work on, and hopefully we get Bo without too much trouble, and I'll put together a lowest viable teams video for her if I beat the event quickly enough. Otherwise, we'll get that one ready for next time. But thank you for watching. Be excellent to each other, everybody. This is Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes.